When we're first diagnosed with diabetes, we all struggle with our blood sugars. But as a diabetes health coach, I am here to help you take the guesswork out of it. And I'm going to give you 5 simple tips in this video to help you balance your blood sugars and get to your goal range. Before we get started, I am Mila, the founder of the diabetes blog, The Hangry Woman, and I'm also a certified integrative nutrition health coach. Welcome to my channel. If you want great videos about recipes, about life with diabetes, about living with diabetes, please go ahead and subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It just lets me know that you're here, that you like the content, and it keeps me making more. Also, as a health coach, I do one-to-one and group coaching sessions, so click the link down below if you're interested. It's in my description box, and it'll gather your info so you can get put on the interest list when coaching spots open up. All right, let's get to it. I told you I'd give you 5 ways that you can balance your blood sugars. Here we go. First, it's important to know that when you're diagnosed with diabetes, what that means is that your body either doesn't produce insulin or your body doesn't use the insulin that you produce efficiently. So what happens is that you have to make some adjustments, whether those are medication adjustments or lifestyle adjustments, to be able to get your blood sugars balanced and back into proper ranges. The reason it's important for your blood sugar to be in proper ranges, because you might be thinking like, why do I have these arbitrary goals? The reason that it's important is because diabetes affects the entire body, right? So your blood flows all throughout your body. When your blood sugars are abnormally high, your body starts to break down. So it starts to affect your organs. It starts to affect your limbs. It affects your memory. It can affect your eyes, your hearing. It can affect your teeth and your oral health. It can affect your heart. So we as people with diabetes have all of these increased risks for complications all over our bodies when our blood sugars are out of range for long periods of time. It's super important for us to keep our blood sugars stable so that we don't have these, pits and peaks, these like really high highs and low lows. We want to kind of, as much as we can, keep things steady. And your doctor probably also gave you a target range. They probably gave you a goal. So when I went to my doctor the first time, my goal was to have a blood sugar no higher than 180 milligrams per deciliter after meals, 2 hours after meals. And so that's kind of the target that I would look to. We wanted me to be under 100 milligrams per deciliter when I woke up in the morning. So those were my kind of guidelines, but it was like, how do I get there? Like, how do I even make this work? So first things first, eat a balanced diet and pair fat, fiber, and protein. Focus on consuming whole, nutrient-rich foods. So you want to go for fruits, veggies, legumes, leafy greens, lean proteins, healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, those kinds of things. You want to make sure that those are ever present in your diet, but they're also balanced, because we often are told like, don't eat carbs, you can't eat carbs, and that's not exactly true. Vegetables have carbs in the form of fiber. So carbs can be positive for your body, positive for energy, but it's all about balancing those carbs to make sure that you're satisfied when you eat, but then also you can maintain that blood sugar balance. So for example, because people will always ask me, well, give me an example of this. A burger is a great example. So a burger is actually a pretty good food, right? It has protein in the patty. It has carbohydrates in the bun, and then typically you can make up the the fat and fiber deficit by stacking your burger with veggies, adding some avocado or some bacon or cheese. Not all 3, but one of the 3 or 2 of the 3 can be really beneficial to helping you balance out that burger. Instead of having fries as your side, choose a veggie. Maybe you choose a green salad. Maybe you choose berries as your side. So kind of taking the twist on that, and not to say that you can't enjoy the burger and fries, but we know that that's going to cause a spike. So you can still enjoy it, still have the joy in that, but you're going to have to counteract it with other measures. But if you kind of want to balance out your meal, that's a great way. That's a fantastic way to be able to get fat, fiber, and protein, get the balance that you need, and then also get some of the extra fiber if you choose to do like a little green salad on the side, and gets you that whole meal balance. Also, if possible, avoid overeating sugary, crazy processed foods. So when we think about things like the chip aisle in the store, or we think about some of those like packaged meals that sometimes have a lot of sodium, though they're convenient, they are high in sodium. So you really want to think about the way that you consumed processed foods, and not to say that it's cutting it out altogether, but to get the best results, you want to limit those foods as much as possible and stick with fresh foods that you can find. And when I say fresh, I don't also just mean the outside perimeter of the grocery store, right? Because you can get fresh frozen foods. Typically, fruits and veggies are frozen at their peak of freshness, and you can find those in the frozen food aisle. Usually has no additives. It's usually just the food itself frozen, and that's great for things like smoothies, or if you have some fruit that you want to keep around that you know that you're maybe not going to eat as quickly, you can absolutely make those work. Staying active is super important, and I know that that can be really difficult. Don't think about it in having to work out, 60 minutes every single day. Break that up into small bite-sized pieces. So maybe you go for a 10-minute walk after your meals. If you do that 3 times a day, 4 times a day, you've gotten 40 minutes of exercise. Maybe you decide that you want to stand and work. Maybe you decide that you want to walk in place while you watch TV, or do some squats while you watch TV. Getting up and getting active isn't necessarily about the intensity. It can be later on down the line once you build up that strength and once you build up that desire to want to do it all the time. But if exercising is something that you don't like doing at this point, start in little tiny bites, little tiny spurts. So that could be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. That could be dancing while you're washing the dishes or doing laundry. Anything, any movement is good movement. And so you want to make sure that you get some movement, because that movement will help you burn energy. And then what happens for most people is that your blood sugars will lower, because you are kind of using up that energy, helping with your insulin resistance and helping your body use that insulin more efficiently once you move. This is going to sound like a no-brainer, but you have to check your blood sugars to know what they are. So make sure you're monitoring your blood sugars. And what that really means is checking when necessary. So I typically wear CGM. I am kind of in this phase right now where I'm doing finger sticks, which I absolutely hate, but I'm doing them 5 times a day, mostly like after every time that I eat. And then like if I feel like I have symptoms, I'll do it then. And I know that that's difficult. I know that sometimes we don't have enough test strips to be able to check enough times per day. I know that sometimes we are afraid of needles, and we're afraid that it's going to hurt, and we're afraid that it's just like going to be this painful thing. Checking your blood sugars is scary. It is painful. I'm not going to lie. Like, it stings, and then you forget about it until the next time. But what I would say is you've got to know what your blood sugars are to be able to balance your blood sugars. So don't be afraid to check your blood sugars. Even if that number is high, you want to know that, because you want to know, okay, what steps did I take to get this result for my blood sugar? Like maybe I ate something really high carb and then I didn't move and exercise, and I didn't pair it with fat, fiber, and protein. And so now I'm looking at this number that's kind of higher than I would like it to be, and then it needs to be. So what can I do next time to make it better? Because reading your numbers is just a great way to analyze your behaviors and how they're working, right? If that number is high, if that number is low, it matters, because it matters how you got there, but it is not necessarily a pass or fail. It's not a grade. It's not a judgment. It just tells you if what you did was working. So maybe you realize that you've done all these things to get this number. Oh, I didn't bolus fast enough. I didn't take my insulin for this. So thinking of those things when you're trying to check your blood glucose is really helpful. It's not about success or failure. It's not about how good you are at managing diabetes. It really just tells you what to look for the next time and how to do it better the next time and how to correct. So for me, I take insulin. If you take insulin, obviously talk to your endocrinologist about how you should go about this, but the number that I'm at tells me, okay, did I take enough insulin for this meal? Did I pre-bolus for this meal? What were the portions like for this meal, et cetera, et cetera. So I ask myself a lot of questions. And this sounds like it's super complicated. It's not. This is like a 10-second process in my brain. And then I remember what to do for the next time. So, maybe I had some oatmeal and I forgot to put my fiber and protein mixture in my oatmeal, and so my blood sugar spiked. Now I can remember, okay, like when I'm eating my oatmeal, I really need to pair it with some fat and some protein, because even though it is heart healthy and fiber rich, it needs some help still to get my blood sugars to be in the place where I want them. So checking your blood sugars, super important, because you got to know where you are to get to where you want to be. Reduce your stress. So high levels of stress are not helpful to your blood sugars. Stress releases cortisol in your body. Stress can make you hungrier for those foods that are super delicious, but maybe not the best for your blood sugars. And stress can also have an impact on your overall mental health. And so if your mental health is not in a good place, you might put diabetes on the back burner. That happens to all of us. It happens so much. So be sure that you're incorporating some stress relief techniques into your daily life, whether that is yoga or meditation or sitting quietly for just a few minutes and having a peaceful break, or if exercise is your time to kind of decompress. Just find a little bit of that decompression time when you get stressed. Maybe you get like a stressful email at work and you just have to take a step back and sit for a second, take a few breaths, kind of calm down, and then get your answer out. It's always really good to take a little bit of a stress relief moment and de-stress, because it's going to help your blood sugars in the long run. And lastly, get enough sleep. I cannot tell you how important sleep is in the overall function of your body. So lack of sleep or bad sleep can cause insulin resistance, right? We can end up with this sleep debt. We can end up not being able to function during the day, fall asleep at night, wake up on time. Establish a routine for sleep. So get up at the same times every single day. That includes on the weekends. Make sure that your body has a functioning routine so that you are not exhausted physically, but also so that your body knows when it's time to rest and time to get sleep. Sleep is our body's time to rest and recharge. This is what helps us get up for the next day. This is what helps our bodies feel good. So aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day is the goal. You want to be able to get good sleep because you want to minimize that insulin resistance. Making sure you have good sleep is of the utmost importance. So make sure that that is a priority. Create a routine before bed. Make sure that you are kind of simplifying your space to make it as cozy as possible, and really aim to get the same amount of sleep every day and aim to go to bed at the same time every night. All right, that's it for this video. If you have any other tips, please let me know down below in the comments, or if any of these tips work for you and you like these tips, I am so happy and so grateful. Please let me know down in the comments. Again, if you're interested in diabetes health coaching, there's a link in my description box where you can get some more info about it. And I'm just so grateful that you sat and watched this video. Hopefully it helps you in your journey with blood sugar balance and diabetes management. That's it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.